Welcome back to Steve Raw Reviews. Today is going to be an interesting review as I think I found the best do-it-yourselfer ratcheting screwdriver for the money, I would say, in the world. So this is it right here, and I'll give you a closer look at the screwdriver and its features in a second. But I'd just like to first start and just talk a little bit about, do any of you actually use screwdrivers anymore? Because I don't use an actual screwdriver anymore in most situations, except if I'm doing some electrical work or I'm doing something where you need the really fine touch of using your hands to tighten something down so you don't break the screw, like in woodworking, or over torque it and strip it out, them kind of situations. But the majority of the time, what am I using? I'm using power tools and I'm using bits. And I'm also going to show you today the bits that I use. And I've pretty much, well, I've cast aside all the other bits I used in the past just for backup. And I stuck with a certain brand. I'll show you that brand in a minute. And I've gone with impact bits only. So let's first just take a look at the, I think is the world's best ratcheting screwdriver for the money, and I paid just over $10 for this, and I bought it off Amazon. I don't sell anything on Amazon, but I will put the link to this down below if you're interested. Now, of course, this is an Amazon link in Canada. I don't know what it's going to be like in your country. It could be like, well, I paid over 10 bucks in America. This is like $1.99, maybe $2, right? So let's go over to the bench. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're over at the bench, and this is the unit here. I've got one that I take up to my camp. I haven't taken it out of the package yet, and that's it right there. And this is the unit right here. Now I will show you, I've got other ones like this, which is a short stubby, and I got a long, but I don't have any ratcheting, and that's what I want, was the ratcheting, because you know what, in reality, this is all I have for a screwdriver assortment, and I rarely use these. So I mean, I used to have my workbench here covered in a whole bunch of screwdrivers. Nah, I don't use them anymore. I go with the impact driver, or just put them in my drill itself. And if we take a look up here, you can see this is what I use. I just use all of these, and this is the only way to go as far as I'm concerned, because, well, even a real tall one, right? So that's what I use, and I think most people are actually going to use their power tools with bits. I'll go over the bits in a second here, and which bits that I found for the money now for a do-it-yourselfer, because I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I am no professional on anything, but I'll show you the bits that I go with. But let's take a look at this right here and see exactly why I think this is so good. And I'll tell you something, you got to zoom in real close here to see, but you can see the arrows on the left and the right. This has got like a nice grip. It's got the hole in it so you can hang it up, and it's just, you know what, it fits in your hand so nice. And it's got this little bit of a gear drive on the outside here for the ratcheting motion. Now it comes with a real, I would say, non-impact bit in it, and I always go with the impact bit. And of course the bit comes in and out, and if we just take a look here, it's magnetic, so it holds the bit in there somewhat, not perfectly, but it holds it in enough for what you're doing, right? So let's go over to the bench here, and I'll show it how it actually works. Well, here we've got three different deck screws. And you know, this is so much easier just using the ratcheting action like this than actually pulling it out, putting it in, and turning a little bit more. So the ratcheting action is ideal. And there's three detents, one on the far right, one on the far left, and one in the middle. So if we just go click to the middle part, and it goes the opposite direction to take it out. And if I go to the opposite end there, Okay, so we got turning right, and in the middle it's just like a regular screwdriver. It's locked in the middle to go back and forth. So we'll just take this one here, and you can just see how you can just use it like a regular screwdriver. And this is where the ratcheting action comes in handy many times, because you know, you don't have to keep on moving your hand. You can go to the other detent, tighten it on one side, reverse it to the complete opposite, and take it out. Now that may seem simple to a lot of people, and most people know about this, but that's the great thing about YouTube, is not everybody knows about everything. And I like to share, you know, some of the simplest things, because you know what? Not everybody is an expert on everything, and there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there that really don't know that you can get a ratcheting screwdriver that's a lot easier on your hands, especially if you have hands like mine full of arthritis. Well, let's go on to the bits now. So what kind of bits should you get when you're thinking about getting any type of 1/4-inch hex bit to fit inside of, you know, any of your screwdrivers that accept the bits, like this one here or this one here? Or if we go, like I said before, up to these type of bits that you just snap in your drill or your impact driver. So what kind should you get? Well, I've bought many kinds over the years, and these ones here are just your regular cheapy, you know, low cost, and these are actually quite well for using in just a hand screwdriving purpose itself. I mean, these are very low cost. There's all kinds of different configurations, and I have plenty of different configurations. And for impact, well, you get all kinds of different sizes, and the only one that I go with anymore is Bosch. Now these are all impact. The black ones are all impact here, and I go with the Bosch, and I like the Bosch the best, and there's a reason behind it. And I'm going to pull out two different styles here and show you the difference. But if we take a look up close, you see how this is a square cut all the way around? Like really, like it's been punched exactly square. And on many units that, take for instance on that square drive, on many units, if I can just find one here, here's another brand that I use that is quite good, and you can see how that's square. And if we go down to, let me find one here. We go down to, is this the style here? No, that's not it. But maybe I threw them all out, because I did have a style where the end was not square. It was kind of tapered, if you can just imagine that, where the ends are kind of tapered. And them ones there, well, they're garbage. Now these ones here, this is a number 3, and this is a Makita. Now Makita is quite good too, but I'll tell you something, the price is not as good as Bosch. And I find that the Bosch is really good. And yet, like these here, if you use them in your impact driver, well, they last. And you pay a little bit more. Like I'm paying like $1 a piece for these, right? And you can get like a whole box for $20 for like probably 500 of this this stuff like this. And you know, you use one of these once in an impact driver, and you just spin the whole tip right off the end. So I mean, yeah, a lot of times these ones here are only designed to actually work in a screwdriver format, and not as an impact driver on your impact tools or your drills. So I would say, if you're shopping around for, you know, bits, take a look at the Bosch. This is a number 1 square drive, and take a look at the Bosch, and you can see they're all labeled in every one. R1, there's R2, R3, and by far these are the best choice that I found for the money for a do-it-yourselfer or a professional, I would say, that's looking for a really good hard impact hex bit. well, this is the choice that I think is out there at a great price that performs well. Well, thanks for joining me here today, and let me know, leave a comment down below, and let me just have a little bit of feedback from the prices that you've seen for a ratcheting screwdriver for $10. And that's what it was, you know, like Amazon's a strange place, right? One day it's $10, the next day it's more, next day it's less. But for me, just over $10, I couldn't find anything that come close to this. I mean, with the quality and the feel, and it's not like just a plastic cheesy type of deal. For just over $10, I think this is the best ratcheting screwdriver in the world for a do-it-yourselfer. And yeah, there's lots more, you know, screwdrivers out there, ratcheting screwdrivers for $50, $60 more. It's all what you want, right? But I mean, I looked, and I found that this was the best. So thanks for joining me here today. Thanks for following along on my reviews on my channel. Come back again. If you haven't seen this YouTube channel before, well, you're welcome to subscribe and see some more interesting things and some reviews of products that I buy myself, I use myself, and you'll see this being used in the future too. Cheers.